came home after a busy weekend on call as a trauma surgeon and found my 4-year-old daughter in tears. She had woken up the previous night feeling scared, sad, and alone. And she knew, even if she cried, her mom wasn't home to help her. In that moment, I realized that although I had arrived at what was supposed to be the best years of my life, what I was experiencing was profound loneliness in this world that I'd created. It didn't matter how hard I worked. It was never enough to fill the need, at home or at work. I didn't even know who I was anymore. I was so busy doing all the things on the protocol and doing the things that I thought I was supposed to do. We're often told to follow that checklist of success. You work hard, listen to your mentors, set goals, and you make it happen. But do you ever wake up and ask yourself, how did I even get here? Or even scarier, who am I? In the pursuit of happiness, goal setting is often cited as a critical step to success. And yet, according to research by the University of Scranton, 92% of people who set New Year's goals never actually achieve them. Who here is amongst that 92%? So, what's the missing link, and how do we bridge that gap? I want to challenge the myth that goal setting is the golden path to success, and I want to invite you today to join me and others in exploring an alternative perspective. That identity-based habits are the key to creating sustainable changes and success in our life. So, you may ask, what are identity-based habits? Well, simply put, it's the habit of being you. Identity is the combination of all the things that makes us uniquely us. Our values, characteristics, roles, and beliefs. How we identify with our society and culture. Habits are the small, consistent ways that we show up every single day as our authentic self. How we think, behave, feel, and make choices are mostly by habits. Did you know that? This is just what we do every single day. Identity-based habits is actually a concept that was brought to life by James Clear, and it refers to this idea that we can design and create sustainable changes in our life by connecting it to our identity. Most of our habits are created unconsciously, but this is a beautiful, intentional space where we can explore to consciously create the habits and the actions that we want to take on a daily basis. So how do we do that? Well, we need clarity on who we are, and then we look at what are the habits that would automatically get us there, the habits that are connected to our identity. Today, I'm going to share with you 3 key elements that helps us to create that habit of being us, a habit so many of us have forgotten to cultivate. Now, we know that goal setting has a lot of benefits, and it can be helpful to know where we're going. So how come it's not helping us create the success that we're looking for? Part of the reason is that most of the time when we do goal setting, it is not connecting to who we are. It's actually connecting to who we think we should be. Key number 1 to creating the habit of being you is to know you. This only works when we know who we are. I remember as a kid, I always used to get asked, who do you want to be when you grow up? It was okay not to know because, hey, we had lots of time. But how many of us here as adults get asked that question anymore. It's almost as if, as adults, we know exactly who we are, and then we just follow this magical checklist, this protocol of just following down your goals. And then maybe we'll get to experience happiness when we achieve those goals. Or maybe when we retire. Or maybe when our kids are grown up. Or maybe when all the laundry's done. Right? Well, that's just not how life works. As humans, we are constantly growing and evolving. If you are not learning, if you are not growing, then my friends, you're dying. May sound a little morbid to talk about death here, but as a trauma surgeon, it's a possibility and reality that I face often. Death is as much part of my life as life is. And it reminds us to remember, am I showing up authentically as me? Or am I just trying to get the things done so I can finally get to the life that I want to live? When you know who you are, then it gives so much more clarity to the question, who do you want to be when you grow up? This is something we should be asking ourselves every single day. What do I want to create by the end of today? And some days, it might be doing your first TED Talk. And some days, it might be just rest and finishing laundry and maybe having some ice cream. It's a balance. The second key is to allow for this evolution and growth in our life. Checklists definitely create a culture of safety and productivity in the operating room, in science, technology, engineering. So it kind of makes sense that we would go to checklists and protocols when we are trying to set ourselves up for success in life. And so we gravitate towards goals, because somehow, when you write that specific measurable goal down, a SMART goal, right, it makes it seem possible until we stop following it. Unfortunately, the key that we forget sometimes is that we are not machines, and we are not our goals. We matter. Our existence matters beyond our goals and achievement. It is in our journey and evolution that we experience what we're seeking: passion, adventure, growth, pounding heart, true connection with ourselves and with others. Isn't that why you all came here today? And at the end of the day, we ask ourselves, what did I live? What did I experience today? And yet, what is sold to us by productivity gurus is just follow your checklist, your goals, and your protocols, and at the end of some distant future, then you will get to experience all of those things that we're seeking. The third key is to actively practice compassion for our human journey and experience. To practice living today and not in the future. The habits that you create today with the identity that you hold directly impacts your results in your life. So, how do we all practice the habit of being us and show up every single day authentically connected? We nurture this habit by learning to listen and nurture the embryonic, authentic little bud that is inside all of us, the inner compass that will guide and shine the light in our path. And that's how you design and create a life connected to identity-based habits, giving ourselves permission to evolve, to change, and to reach for all of our craziest dreams. And one day, instead of looking back or looking forward, we can say we lived in this moment today, and those memories are going to be with us forever. So I invite you to consider, what would that mean for you? As a trauma surgeon, I see the impact of deferring our dreams and happiness into some future. If there's something that you love, that you want to do, why are you not doing it today? Why are we deferring our happiness to some future when we don't even know what our tomorrow will hold? If someone had told me 10 years ago that in 2023, I was going to be a part-time trauma surgeon homeschooling her daughter, I would have totally laughed and told them none of those things are on my goal-setting checklist. But as I was creating my pivot, struggling with my identity crisis, actually it was my daughter who once again came to my rescue. I had just finished the end-of-year parent-teacher conference with her kindergarten teacher. And there were so many concerns on her kindergarten goals checklist. She wasn't meeting a lot of the metrics. She was a delayed reader. In fact, she was hardly reading. And she wasn't able to do some of the multi-step instructions, which we all know is an essential goal for a kindergartner. I came home feeling completely wiped out. I was totally failing at being a mom. I'm not helping her reach her goals, supporting her growth. What do I do? So I went into my problem-solving, goal-setting mode, because that's what I knew. I sat down next to her and gently tried to approach this topic. So I did what they taught us in medical school and started with some open-ended questions. So how do you think this year is going? What do you want to do next? And really the most important question for me was, how can I best help you? As you can imagine, that did not go over very well with her 5-year-old self. But she totally surprised me when she said, I think this year is going great. I am doing awesome. So I tried to bring her back gently and told her about some of the concerns that the teacher had and, how do we meet some of those goals? She was completely unfazed. She looked at me and said, oh yeah, the teacher keeps asking me to do stuff. I don't think she realizes that's just not how I do things. I can't do those things. I can only do things like me. And I realized that she knew exactly who she was and how she wanted to show up at 5 years old. Wow, I wish I had that confidence. I wish that we could all show up with that confidence, believing in ourselves, living as our authentic self, and not feeling like we're failing because we're not fulfilling some checklist. The most significant project that you will ever work on is you. Let's make it a habit to continually rediscover the habit of being you. Thank you.